The final shape is bringing more exotics than just the prismatic class items. It's bringing at least 3 more armor exotics and definitely more than 3 weapons. So let's just get into the ones that Bungie has revealed up to this point. Today is May 18th and we're like at noon. So if anything comes out, I didn't know of it. So starting off with the first thing they revealed of this new arsenal is Matiodoxia, which is a warlock chest armor exotic. And I want to say this before we get into all these and before you make your judgments. I'm pretty sure Bungie is holding the entire perks for all 6 of these close to their chest. I think we're only seeing maybe half of what these exotics do. That said, Matiodoxia is an exotic that buffs your arcane needles. Hitting it from the gameplay, it looks like 3 charges of arcane needle will send out a pretty substantially large suspending blast from the target. So it suspends a bunch of enemies at once. But you need to focus on a big target to make that happen. Of course, I don't really know if it does anything else, but I would assume that there is some sort of interaction getting you your melee charges faster, maybe killing suspended enemies or strand debuffed enemies, because you're going to be unraveling and suspending on that 3rd shot. Maybe it's whenever you have all 3 charges, or rapidly firing 3, might not have to be the same target. We really don't know until we get our hands on it, or Bungie just says, okay, there's the perk. But we just don't know. That's what it seems to be at the moment, though. Rating Matiodoxia out of 10, I think I'd give it 5 out of 10 scrim blows. So that's only what we know so far. Maybe it's better, maybe it's worse. But moving on to the Hunter's chest armor exotic, the Gifted Conviction. What it does that we know of is it buffs Ascension and Tempest Strike. So those are the heavy melees on Arc Hunter. And what we know is whenever you cast those aspect abilities, you will release some skip grenade looking things. I don't think they act like skip grenades. I think it's just, little bomb charges that are arc damage. Again, we don't know how much damage they do. We don't know if they track. We don't know if this increases the base damage of our heavy melees or if it gives some boost to charge rate or anything else. Maybe it gives some sort of boost to the actual Arc Strider Super. We don't know enough about this. I know the Warlock exotic using 3 charges to send out a suspending blast is kind of rough. But it's a very large area, and suspend is not that bad. Even after nerf, I know I've dogged on it. But in all reality, and not me just memeing, it's not bad. Suspend is still pretty good. So, between Gifted Conviction and the Warlock exotic, I'm taking the Warlock exotic, personally. Of course, this thing could come out and be busted. It could chunk bosses' health bars. If you do a Tempest Strike into an Ascension, it could, half boss health bars. We just don't know yet. So I'll keep my eye on it, but I don't expect anything great from this. Again, I think we're only seeing half the perk here. Rating it out of 10, I think I'll give it 3.5 Wimbles. And last up for our exotic chest armors for the final shape, we have the Titan's Hazardous Propulsion. This was the one I'm looking the most forward to, and I think this is also the one we know the most about. Okay, so basically whenever you cast your class ability as a Titan, whether it's Towering Barricade, Rally Barricade, or Arc Thrusters, you send out a rocket volley. Now, I'm not here to talk about how it looks like failsafe AI like symbol is on the chest piece. That's cool. Don't know the implications of that yet. Maybe it is something, maybe it isn't. Who's to say? But we don't really know how much damage it does, but it's really funny that it happens, and I think with thrusters, this will be really funny, especially in PvP. This thing's going to be gross. But here's the issue. Okay, not issue. In the trailer, whenever the Titan casts their barricade and they stand behind it, they pull out a rocket launcher, which looks like the Black Armory rocket launcher. Gotta say that. It's glowing. So there's a decent chance this gives a buff to rocket launchers after casting your class ability. Maybe it's only rocket launchers that match the damage type of your super or class ability, but that would only work for arc. But, you know, so it's probably based off super. So, yeah, whatever your super damage type is, your rocket launchers, you might get a surge for that damage type. It might be a rocket surge. Maybe it's just adapted, or, you know, Godslayer warheads. Maybe you get Godslayer warheads whenever you cast your class ability, which would be insane. But, yeah, it seems to give some sort of buff to rocket launchers, which is why I said we know the most about it. We don't know if the rockets are elementally charged. We don't know if they have any interactions with subclasses. I'm assuming they're just kinetic or solar. But yeah, using everything we know and the things we don't know for sure but could assume, I got to give this one like a 7 or a 7.5 gimbals. Okay? It looks fun. Next, let's talk about Exotic Kvastov. Exotic Kvastov. This seems to be very different from the Destiny 1 version of it. I assume it'll be craftable. I'm assuming it'll probably be associated with an exotic mission. Maybe we play the 7 missions of the final shape. They throw in the quest for Kvastov, and it's like, you know, an exotic quest like 0 Hour or Whisper, whatever you want to say. And you get a craftable version of it. But the exotic trait that actually matters, that has no speculation on it, every 7th round ricochets. And I'm not saying it's bad ricochet rounds. I'm saying, you know the Stasis Hunter melee? It's like that. You hit an enemy, and then it bounces between enemies until it's gone. We don't know how many times it bounces. If I would hazard to guess, I would say probably a max of 7. But yeah, is it the strongest thing? No. Maybe that bullet increases in damage every time it hits an enemy, because the first one didn't die, but it looked like the other ones did when it hit them. So maybe it increases in damage the more people it hits. I know a lot of people are bummed out about the Kvastov reveal. I think that's at most half of what it does. It probably has a second exotic perk like most weapons. If it has a catalyst, that might be a third exotic perk. So we just don't know enough about it. And that could only be half of an exotic perk, is at the 7th round ricochets and bounces. So yeah, we just don't know enough about Kvastov yet. But I think, yeah, I think it's fair to say I'll give it a 7 out of 10 bungos. Next up, let's talk about Microcosm, which is one of the exotics revealed. It's a heavy trace rifle, so you can rock 3 now with Cenotaf's mask, and that's probably going to be the strongest thing about it. What does it do? What is the exotic perk? Bungie revealed that it, wait for it, does more damage to shields. That's all we know. It does extra damage to shields. It's in the heavy slot, so Cenotaph enjoyers rejoice. Something other than Divinity. It'd be really good in Ghosts of the Deep. Outside of that, not sure. We don't know what damage type it is. It seems to apply void effects and solar effects and strand effects on death. So I'm assuming it just depends on your super. Or maybe the shield it breaks. Or grenade charges. We just don't know enough about this thing. Maybe it depends on the last damage type you got to kill with. Again, we have no idea what this thing does. I think at the very most, the extra damage to shields is half of a perk. And I don't think that matters because trace rifles already pretty decently deal with shields. And this thing should be dealing more damage because it's heavy. So why does it have that? So yeah, we don't know much about it. I'm assuming that's like maybe a quarter of what it does. But face value, the information we have right now, I gotta give this thing 2 out of 10 small boys. And finally, we have the last exotic I'm talking about here, unless before I actually finish this video, they show off another. Still Hunt. It is a sniper rifle. They talked about, I mean, they also talked about Microcosm in the initial reveal. It's a sniper that turns into the golden gun. So what does it do? You get kills, you charge it up, or they don't specify that it's kills. You charge it up, and you get a golden gun shot, or a few golden gun shots. I don't know if this thing's dead on arrival or not. It seems like a better, maybe, version of Zen Meteor. We don't know if the charge requires kills. We don't know if it's headshots. Maybe it's on a timer. We don't know. It just said charge it up. It could be precision kills. I think that would be the worst case scenario for it. We don't know if it synergizes with Celestial Nighthawk. That would be sick, though. But, yeah. Bungie, employees have been saying that this thing is really good, but I don't know if I would take it over Izanagi. Of course, Izanagi basically got hit with a massive, 17%, no, 20% nerf, because it's losing the kinetic damage buff, because that's going away on bosses, and then it's not receiving the sniper damage buff of 7%, so it's losing out on 22% damage, compared to what it would have been. So Still Hunt could be way better than Izzy. There's a chance. But we don't know. I think that is one of the 2 exotic perks on this thing. Again, we just don't know. Maybe this thing is completely broken. Maybe the charge is also on a timer, like an actual super meter. Maybe you could charge it with your super, like Agar Scepter. So yeah, we really don't know. But I think we will know eventually. So I think I'll give this one, it's reminiscent of Golden Gun, which is usually revolver, 6-shooter. We'll give it a 6 out of 10 Wimbly Mibblies. But I'm pretty confident that they did not show the raid weapon, the raid exotic weapon, and they didn't show off Red Death, at least as of yet. If they did, it'll be right here in the video. So, yeah, those are the exotics that Bungie has shown off, already before May 19th. So, yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of these exotics down below, and I'll see you next time.